Welcome to Math with Mrs. Bibb. We are reviewing solving systems of equations. This is a concept that we learn in 8th grade here in West Virginia, and in 9th grade Algebra 1 Honors, I do just consider it a review, but I will do these examples to help with substitution. I did a previous video on elimination, so if you need help with that, you could search for that as well, or click the link in Google Classroom. Okay, so here's my steps for substitution. Step 1, choose a variable. If possible, choose a variable that has a coefficient of 1. Step 2, isolate the variable. Step 3, substitute the expression from step 2 into the other equation. That's very, very important. Step 4, solve the equation in step 3. Step 5, substitute your answer to step 4 into the answer from step 2. So back in here where you isolated the variable, to find the other coordinate, or you may substitute this answer anywhere. Final answer. Your final answer should be written as an ordered pair, x, y, or as a complete sentence if the problem is a word problem. So here we go for substitution. Now sometimes with substitution, it is set up and ready for you to solve. And number 5 is set up and ready for you to solve. I have a variable alone. I have y equals -4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that -4 and I'm going to substitute it in for y. Now I can also go ahead and put -4 here because it says y is -4. So I know y is -4. And now I'm going to skip down to step 3, substitute the expression, or in this case the number, into one of the other equations. So -7x minus 2 times -4 equals 1. -7x plus 8, negative times a negative is a positive, equals 1. Subtract 8 from both sides. -7x equals -7. Divide by -7. X equals +1. +1, -4 is the answer to number 5, solving using substitution. Then for number 6, nice and easy again because y is 8. It's ready. It tells me what y is. So I am going to take this value of 8. I'm going to substitute it in for y in the other equation. So I'm going to have 8 equals x plus 1. Subtract 1 from both sides. X will equal 7. So the answer to number 6 is 7, 8. Now, number 7, as you can clearly see, is not like number 5 or 6. I do not have one. I can't go straight to one of the answers here. I have to actually go through the steps. It says choose a variable. If possible, choose a variable that has a coefficient of 1. As I look at these, coefficient -4, coefficient -2, constant, constant, coefficient -5, coefficient of 1. So I am going to choose this variable right here, and I am going to isolate that variable. I'm going to get x alone. What do I do to get x alone? How do I get rid of -5y? I add 5y to get x alone, or to isolate it. So x will equal -5 plus 5y, or 5y minus 5, whichever way you want to write it. And that was step 2. Step 3, substitute the expression from step 2 into the other equation. So I'm going to substitute this expression in for x. I want you to notice everything else stays the same. When I substitute -5 plus 5y in for x, the -4 will be in my equation, then -2y, and the equals 20 will all be in my equation. All I'm doing is replacing x with -5 plus 5y. So -4, parentheses, -5 plus 5y. and then everything else stays the same. Then I'm going to solve. The next step says, step 4 says solve the equation in step 3. So I'm going to distribute positive 20 minus 20y minus 2y equals 20. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. Negative 22y equals 0. Divide by negative 22. Y will equal 0. So I've got part of my answer. Now I'm going to take this answer and put it back into the expression from step 2. So x is going to equal negative 5 plus 5 times, 5 times 0, and then x equals negative 5 plus 0, so x equals negative 5. That's the answer to number 7. Now on to number 8. For number 8, I have a coefficient of negative 3. I have a coefficient of negative 12. I have a constant of 6. I have a coefficient of 28, a coefficient of negative 6, and a coefficient of 1. So I want to get this x alone. How do I get rid of subtracting 6y? I add 6y to both sides. So x will equal 28 plus 6y, or 6y plus 28, doesn't matter which way you write it. And now we're going to substitute this expression, 28 plus 6y, in for x. Remember it said into the other equation. So everything else is going to stay the same. Everything else stays the same. Only replace x with 28 plus 6y. So negative 3 times 28 plus 6y minus 12y equals 6. And then I'm going to solve this equation. Distribute 28 times 3. I'm going to write it down so I don't mess it up. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 2, 6, 7, 8. So 84, negative 84, minus 18y minus 12y equals 6. Add 84 to the other side. At the same time, combine like terms, so that's what? Negative 30. Divide by negative 30. Y is going to equal negative 3. Okay, so y, oops, you can't see that. Y is going to equal negative 3. Now I'm going to take this answer that I just got, this negative 3. I'm going to take it back to here. I'm going to substitute it in, so x will equal 28 plus 6 times negative 3. So then x will equal 28 minus 18. X will be 10. So 10, negative 3 is the answer to that question. So that's reviewing using substitution. You will have one more video to watch. I'll only have you write down the word problem, and please do write down the word problem and highlight the way I highlight, and then that will be your notes for the week. Have a great day.